This is the story of connection, the connection between a father and a son, and a moment shared through music. See what happens when young Percy hears his own story for the very first time, straight from the sound of his father's voice.
Everywhere where the sharks are, that's where I will not be swimming. Everywhere where the sharks are, and their whole sharky crew. Everywhere where the sharks are, have been, could be.
Hey Percy, do you remember writing that song? You were 3 years old and you told me that you started a band called Bear Clothes. You're such an amazing son and you've already come so far. You have no idea how proud we are of you. I'm not sure we've ever told you this, but when we found out you were born deaf, there were a lot of tears between Mama and me. You're our only kiddo. We're a very musical family. And when we recognized that you wouldn't experience the glory of sound and music, it made us incredibly sad. Then we found out you were a candidate for a cochlear implant. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we also knew our journey together would be meaningful, and it has been. There was a moment I'll always remember. It was before you got your cochlear implant. You were 9 months old and profoundly deaf. We were at a family Christmas party and everyone was playing their instruments and singing songs, and you were moving to the music, not hearing it, but feeling it. It was in that moment that I knew, no matter what, you were going to be just fine. Then, just last summer, we were on vacation and a band was playing. I watched you be drawn to the music like a moth to a flame. This time my tears were of joy because I knew, because of your cochlear implant, you could hear the music as well as feel it. You danced on that dance floor by yourself for 10 minutes. And I watched my boy be a boy, full of excitement with no restrictions, free. We love you so much. And I'm so glad that we get to go through this life making and enjoying beautiful music together.
And their whole sharky crew. Everywhere where the sharks are.
I think your version's better.
It was surprising because I didn't know about these parts, and I didn't know that he had made his own edition of my song. Also, I forgot to put a copyright on
it. It's always emotional for me to think about. I don't anymore very often, and it was really wonderful to see Percy's reaction to that story. That was really meaningful to me, but it was really touching to witness him hearing it for the first time. Well, when we first learned in the hospital that he had failed his newborn screen, we cried. We cried a lot. And then we kind of went on a, but maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. But it just wasn't. We had a feeling that it wasn't. And it was really emotional for us. We kept talking about all of the things that were important to us that he might never have be able to experience. So as soon as we found out he was eligible for cochlear implants, we knew that's what we wanted to do.
We were trying to temper ourselves and not be expecting some kind of miracle because he had never really heard anything. And I think even as it was just a few hours later that night, we were giving him a bath, and we were trying out his new waterproof devices, and we had made a knocking sound on the tub, and he reacted to it, and we realized he's hearing us, and he's just figuring out what it is to have this new input. They weren't even an amazing band. But it didn't matter. It was just live music, and it was as soon as Percy heard the music, he just was like, he like ran to the dance floor and couldn't wait to dance. At some point I said to Megan, like through sniffles and everything else, that was like, this is why we have those. This is why we have these devices, that, you know, this is why we did what we did. If we can make anything happen for him, let's try to make it happen. But at the same time, reminding him to not be a spoiled bad kid. So you know, walk the line. But we're excited that we get to choose what's next and do whatever we want to do and see what Percy wants to do.